And welcome back to Man Sharpens Man. I don't know why I started like that. I don't want to start it. Welcome back to Man Sharpens Man. It's LJ and Charlie.
Special one today.
That's
You
a very
guys.
special one. We cleaned our palate. We had a couple guests and we had to get back to some bromance. We had to get back to just the two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to,
Back
Charlie.
to the good old days where it's just two
Two guys,
hosts.
two microphones.
Nowadays, hosts have 7 or 8.
Yeah,
Or
they have way
podcasts
too
have
many.
7 or 8 hosts.
It's
You don't need
retarded.
that
They
many.
keep doubling it, thinking it's better. They're like
Yeah.
McDonald's. They supersize their podcasts.
Yeah.
Not here. We keep things small, simple, and sweet, so you
Yeah.
can wrap your mind around it. That's what it is. It's Man Sharpens Man.
Yep.
I'm always going to keep that name, but I hope that our listener base gets big enough one day where it's known that it's Man Sharpens Man is the title, but it's not some kind of man show. I want female viewers, Charlie. We need female viewers.
Well, sometimes man implies both, I think.
I think so. I think many women consider themselves like of the man. Like we're all men. We're men, I guess in a way. I don't know. That does make sense.
If you're thinking of man as in the human race,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I think of man sharpens man as.
You know why I named it Man Sharpens Man? It's like I told Jenny about it, and she like got down. She's like, "That's probably your guru." I was like, "You know what? He probably was in a way." But there's this dude named Cooper. He always used to run and just fucking tag me, just punch me or smack me in the nuts or something. You know, one of them pranky type things, and he'd yell, "Man Sharpens Man," and he'd be off. Like that was his motto whenever he picked on me.
Oh, yeah, I think you told me that.
Yeah. So I always thought of that all through my prison bit. I'd always think, "Oh, Cooper picking on me." I was like, "Yeah, man does sharpen man. Like who else you got? Especially in prison. There's no internet. Not a lot. You know, you gotta have some friends. It's hard to find good friends in prison. I'm glad I found you, Charlie. You're a good friend to me too in this world.
Thanks.
I don't
You're a
tell
good
people they're a
friend,
good
too.
friend to me enough. That's advice to our
You,
listeners. Tell your friends that they're good friends once. Well, be nice to a motherfucker. Tell them they're appreciated. Like people like to hear that shit.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that yesterday. I went downstate with my daughter. You know, that's another thing. Man sharpens man. My daughter sharpens me. Daughter sharpens man sometimes, Charlie, because my daughter sharpened me yesterday. We went to a fucking metal concert. It was fucking...
That's the loud music.
Holy shit. And when I say metal, like, I mean fucking metal. Like, fucking... It was terribly good. Like, I could tell it was good. It was dead on. But it was fucking insane. Like, to enjoy it for any period of time, it'd have to be crazy. Like, I liked it some, but I don't know how people could just blast this shit in their headphones or listen to it on a daily basis. Like, it is violent and loud and insane. And as far as art goes, like, I'd never been to a metal show, and I'm gonna give it props, Charlie, for real. I would recommend it to anybody. There was people there fucking the craziest ages. There was like 55, 60-year-old dudes with like long skullets. You know what a skullet is, where you're like fucking bald on the top and got long hair in the back?
Oh, yeah.
See, like a skull mixed with a mullet is what it was. So there was like old dudes with fucking skullets, and it was just like, it was insane. The fucking mosh pit, a dude, not even fun kidding, come staggering out with the classic fucking broke front tooth and blood running down his face. Just, the music was crazy, and it was more art than a lot of music is, because it was a lot of like sound bites and noises and like performance on stage.
I like that
and it was
a lot.
really fun, and it was spot on. But the group was called King 810, and they're from Flint, and they like really capture the fucking like angriness of Flint, and they don't hold back on like letting you know that they're from like Flint. They like play a couple like news sound bites where like, today in Flint another person was gunned down or some shit. Like they let you know they're from like the violentest area, but they're not like rappers where they're like, I'm from Flint, I'm gonna rap about that. They're like they're metal, and they're just like singing about like just songs like metal. They're not singing about Flint, they're just singing about metal, but they really have captured that anger. You know, down there they can't even get clean water in the fucking city. You know what I mean? It's a shithole. There's no jobs. Everyone's shooting at each other. Like, it's hard to come up when you're in that type of shit.
Yeah.
You start to, like, I know a lot of people from Flint, and I know you start to glorify that type of shit. You're like, oh, this is cool to me, you know? In prison, they used to call themselves the Flintstones. They'd always group together, and they were violent. Like, when you knew group of dudes that, like, hung out together that were all from Flint, like, you knew. It was like, okay, these dudes are the ones that, like Detroit has got a name. Flint has got a name too, but it's not as loud. But it should be twice as loud, because Flint is the cesspool. Like, it's hard in Flint. It gets
I've
worse
been there
every
a
day.
few times, so
It's a
I
good
know
place for
when I'm
comedy.
in Flint.
I like doing comedy there. I got a show Monday down in Flint.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go see that after my mic down there.
It'll be it's late. It's a late one. It'll be on your way back too. It'll be you can time that. It'll work perfect as long as the weather ain't fucked.
Yeah. The
Last
one
night,
down there is 9:30. It's an hour. When is your show?
I'm not sure. I have to look it up for sure. You know how I am. If I don't go look at the calendar, I have no idea. I know it's late, and it might even be like 11:30. Like it's a late
Okay.
ass show.
Good.
He told me
Good.
don't hold back, so I'm like, all right, late and don't hold back. My favorite shit. That's what I
Perfect.
like. We were out late. We fucking drove. We got home at 5:30 this morning from
Jeez.
Detroit. Like we drove. Like I'm so glad that I went with my kid. Like my daughter asked me, she's like, hey, like she's like kind of kicking it with the sound producer guy, right? So she's like, hey, will you go down with me and like not keep me safe necessarily, but keep me company and drive and I'm gonna go meet this guy. She knows him. She's met him many times. He's like a decent motherfucker. He's like really cool guy. Plays rugby and shit. It's like he's an impressive motherfucker. Like he's got a lot of hobbies. Like I like people that have hobbies that they actually do. Like don't have a garage full of shit you own and want to tell me about your four wheeler and shit. Like have stuff you
Yeah.
actually do that I don't even know. And like one day I find out what you fucking mountain climb? I didn't even know. Yeah, I'm headed to. Like, that's the shit that impresses me more than people that show off with like a thing. But he's a cool dude. But
Agreed.
yeah.
Yeah.
But she asked me. She's like, go to this fucking concert with me, just to hang out because I need like a partner in crime basically. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. Yeah, it's fun. It's my kid. In a way, my step kid. So I rolled up 101 joints like always, and we're like, all right, let's fucking do this bad boy. And we road tripped it down to Detroit yesterday, and it was a fucking blizzard. So it took forever to get there, but we left with plenty of time. And we get there, and as we're creeping into this place, Charlie, I'm not exaggerating when I'm like, it is the fucking hood of hoods. This bar that we're going to, that this group is playing at, like they're a medium-sized group. They're like fairly big, but this bar that they found is in the middle of a fucking hood in like southern Detroit, way down by the Canada Bridge. Like, have you been in the
Hmm.
dark parts of Detroit much?
Yeah.
Not
I've
dark.
drove through.
That sounds horrible. Like the dark, like dark and dirty, not like dark, like
I guess
people
so.
wise.
I've driven through. My dad used to live in Detroit, so he knows
Yeah, there's
some
some bad.
interesting places to drive through.
Oh,
Not
your
to
dad
get
is
out.
definitely wise to where not to
Yeah.
go. But
Yeah.
we're in this like one of them neighborhoods where you wish the speed limit wasn't 25 because there's three guys on every other
Yeah.
corner, and
Where
they
you don't
like
want to stop at stoplights.
yeah, and they
even.
like do shit where like you try to go around a curve and they kind of like stand in your way a little bit, and if you're stupid enough to stop,
Mhm.
then they'll like knock on your window and try to aggressively try to borrow $5, and if you like crack a little bit, like it's one of them neighborhoods. So I was super fucking glad I went with her. Basically, like
Mhm.
nothing happened, and like my kid can handle herself. Trust me, I'm her dad. But anyhow,
Mhm.
I was glad I went with her because it's a dirty ass neighborhood, but it's kind of fun. It's fun going to a hood like that once in a while. It's exciting to walk
Yeah.
around because we had to park like blocks away and walk through just like alleys with the classic like gang graffiti and just like burnout, boarded up shits, and it was a fucking rough neighborhood, and it was just like a local fucking shit bar, but it had a cool stage, and the fucking concert was insane, Charlie. If you've never been to a metal, like metal, not old metal, like I like old metal like Pantera, Metallica, that shit I'd go see it, but like metal, current, some shit they're coming out with right now, that new metal, oh my god.
Yeah,
That
I'll have
shit's
to check it
intense,
out.
Charlie. It's
I like
intense.
intense music.
I went to the
I'm not.
bathroom after a couple of songs by the main group, and it's just like it's a crowded little tight bathroom, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm in the bathroom, and all of a sudden the fucking door blows open, boom, and I can hear this guy puking next to me. No! Well, I come trying to walk out of the bathroom, and he's in between me and being able to get out of the bathroom, and he's standing like 4 feet or better away from the urinal, so he's like puking across the bathroom into the fucking urinal, making it so that there's no way I can exit the bathroom now because I was in like the stall. And as I come out, he's got the whole thing blocked, and he's like puking 3 to 4 feet away from him,
Jeez.
and like screaming almost like every time he pukes because it's like a violent, like whoa, like I don't want to get too fucking loud and gross. We'll have everyone turn it off. But this fucking dude is just like, and just shooting this puke into the fucking urinal. I can't get out of the bathroom. Then as soon as he's done puking, Charlie, it was fucking so funny. He's just like, ah! He starts fucking screaming. He's got like a wife beater on. He's drenched in sweat. Fucking snot coming out of his nose. His eyes are watering, and he's just fucking screaming, "Fuck yeah, motherfucker!" And it's just me and him in a bathroom. I'm like, what in the fuck is going on right now? Like, you know how I am. I responded. I gave him some, yeah, motherfucker, woo, and gave him like a dap or something. Like we pounded fists, and I'm like, I gotta get the fuck. Like he moved a little, and as I was walking out of the bathroom, he started fucking puking again. And like as he was puking, he was like yelling and kind of like he was making a noise. Like I knew he wanted me to like hear that he was puking more. Like he was proud of it. He's like, yeah, and he just started puking again. It was like saying, yeah, while he puked. Like he like puked 3 more times before I could get out the door completely, and like yelled yeah as he was puking, like a celebration of his vomit. That's fucking metal as fuck, Charlie.
Yeah, it is.
That shit was crazy. People were walking around with these weird like fucking masks and shit. I mean, like, it was dark, man. Like it wasn't like it was dark. It was fucking. And it was fucking crazy. It was fucking. It'll wake you up, that's for sure. You go to a metal concert, you're like, okay, I'm awake.
Yeah.
I'm awake.
That'd be awesome.
It was
I'll
pretty
have
fun.
to go to one.
My fucking. Both my kids are cool as shit. They both do shit where I'm like, oh, this is something I wouldn't do. It's kind of nice thing, you know? That's why, like, I told this guy this the other day. This, like, was off the cuff. I was just like, it was like some random philosophy by Little John Hall. Like, it was just a random fucking philosophy the other day, but I was kicking it with a guy, and he's like, he kind of, like, put out the thought that you can't, like he was an older guy, you know, like maybe 50, and there was a guy that was up on stage that was like younger, maybe like 20 or something, and after he was off stage, the guy I was talking with, I'm not putting any names out, but the guy I was talking to kind of put the thought out where it was like, what's this young guy got to teach us old dudes? Because he's like kind of talking to me, because I'm not that old, but goddamn, I'm getting up there, you know what I mean? I got a bald spot, so I'm like, in a way, I was like, okay, yeah. And then I just let it marinate for a second. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I got to say something. I was like, you can learn something from a young person. Like, how can you, as an older person, make up in your mind that you're not going to learn something from a young person?
Yeah.
Like, people go back to school all the time. I bet you that people we know that went back to college have teachers that are younger than them potentially. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a crazy statement. It was crazy.
Or to think you're not going to learn something from anything, I think is a
Basically
little
what I told him is, like, when I was 20, I used to think I could teach something to older people, you know, whether it was a life lesson or a fucking something I learned out of a science book. I used to feel like I had something to offer older people as far as wisdom from the youth. So now that I'm older, it would be arrogant and asshole of me to not think that a younger person could offer me some wisdom, you know? Sometimes young people are like, if you ever watch a little kid playing, that's some good advice right there. He's just having fun.
In the moment.
Yeah, he's just having fun watching little car. Woo, woo, woo. He's fucking having a great time. That's good advice from a young person. He ain't even got to talk. There's your advice right there. Look at him.
Yeah, or you can learn from the flaws of us, too.
You can learn a lot of places.
The mistakes we make, too.
I'm glad I didn't learn from those
So
mistakes last night. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Last night was mugga motherfucker night. So what have you been up to, Charlie? I missed you yesterday. Did you miss me while I was out of town in Detroit? Be honest.
Yeah, I was going to podcast, or I wanted to. But I actually started my own podcast.
I know. We got to tell people about it now. We have a podcast network beginning.
Yep.
Now, Charlie has started yet a nodule, and then the Net of Indra podcast that we're going to do of love and spreading harmony and teaching people how to swear more fluently. I hate fucking people that can't swear fluently. Like, you need to be able to swear in the right places.
Yeah,
like
there's
you
a
thought
few
I was about to swear right there, but it wasn't the right place for it.
There might have been
like,
a few swear
I'll let
words
you know
in
when
my,
it's the right fucking place because it's the right fucking place.
in
You
my
know
podcast, for all the listeners out there that
That'd
want
be
to
a
hear
good
swear
podcast.
words, you
Maybe
can listen to
that'll
the
be
whole
the
thing
third
and you might hear a
podcast. We'll
few.
just call it swear words.
Yeah.
We'll teach people how to swear. I can compose whole sentences out of swear words and get the point across.
Yep.
Like, you could give me 3 swear words and I could tell you about something.
Yeah.
It's that. Like, swear words are a powerful thing. They're a powerful thing. So what'd you name your podcast, Charlie? Tell people even though I know.
It's The Charlie Show.
It's
episode 1.
Original as hell. Where did you come up with the Charlie Show? Was you thinking about, like, watching Charlie Brown, or what were you doing when you thought
Just
of that name?
sounds good.
Oh, that's your name?
That's a good sound of it, yeah.
And you named your podcast after
Actually,
yourself.
didn't address that, I don't think. In the,
you didn't point
in the
that
podcast,
out?
so my name
Just
is
in case
Charlie.
you guys didn't pick up on the fact that I'm Charlie, and it was the way I named my show.
Actually, I remember writing that down that I was going to say my name is Charlie.
My name is Charlie.
But
This is how I
did
live.
not.
I got
Yeah,
a
it's about an
podcast,
hour, so
and
if you
it
want to
is what I
listen,
give.
if you want to listen through the whole thing, you might hear 3 or 4 swear words. I talked about this podcast, and actually I have a bit of a storyline beginning.
I do.
Because the other night,
Uh-oh.
this is a surprise, the other night I had your pen, actually.
Oh, you stole my pen.
Yeah. I stole your pen with my notebook.
My wife is
And,
a pen-aholic. If she finds out you're taking the pens, because she's the one that gets
It's
the
a
pens.
Z-grip flight, and
oh,
I
yeah,
thought
exactly.
I had it in my pocket.
She likes them. Uh-oh.
I don't think I might have dropped it in your car.
This story is getting suspenseful now, Charlie.
Yeah.
We had to warm up to the podcast in the car because smoking weed in this garage would have been freezing.
Let me see here.
I had to get in a warm spot. Did you find the pin?
Maybe it's
Jesus.
it's not with my notebook.
No.
Well, it's got to be in the car. Or maybe I'll just have to buy you
That's
a new
even
Z
more
grip.
suspenseful now.
I might have to buy you a new Z grip.
The suspense continues now.
Yeah. But to hear the whole story, you're going to have to listen to all of my podcast, which is an hour and 8 minutes long, and you'll hear the whole story of how I got the pen, and now, where is it?
The saga continues.
Yeah, so
you
maybe
won't find that part out. You'll only find the part where it was on its way over.
Yeah,
here.
you'll find out the prequel.
But now something is happening.
And the story, and now we're into the story.
A lot of things could have happened.
And that was unplanned, ladies and
gentlemen.
gentlemen.
Boring things could have happened in the pin, like you could have just dropped it, but also exciting things could have happened in the pin.
Yeah.
Like Rick from Rick and Morty could have teleported in and took the pin because he needed it to construct a device or something.
Yeah, it's a Z-grip flight.
Zebra flight? Those
Z-grip.
are the nice one.
Z-grip flight.
Yep, those are
it does look like a zebra.
Those are nice pins.
And I wrote all of this with it. I wrote the date. And
those
then
are sexy
another
letters.
dates and my name.
Speaking of writing, if people want to write, if you tune into Charlie's podcast that he started, the very first episode, he does have a thing going where if you transcribe the podcast, which means you write down all the words, and you count every 14th letter, and then you write them down, then they're going to be jarbled. You're going to have to unscramble them, and they're in groups of 7, and there's going to be 7 7-letter words. And when you unscramble them 7 7-letter words, it's going to spell out a sentence, and it's basically a short treasure map. Like, you'll understand it if you can. If you do the work, you'll understand the code, and you will find a treasure.
It's the beginning of a scavenger hunt. If you listen to the whole thing, you got to listen to the whole thing, transcribe it.
Yep.
And once you transcribe it, if you'd like, you could also put that into Google Translate and do it in Spanish.
Oh,
yep.
Yo habla Charlie Español.
And who knows, maybe that'll be worth a few dollars if you do that, translate into Spanish, and put up my podcast for all the Spanish listeners out there, including my roommate.
That is kind of you. That's a kind offer.
Yeah.
That's a kind offer.
And yeah, also we have the anagram with the scavenger hunt.
That's a super kind offer to your Spanish listeners.
Alphabet soup for a scavenger hunt.
You hadn't even considered this, Charlie. If they transcribe the episode, then they let you know, and at the end of the episode you say, for a transcribed episode of The Charlie Show, please write to this crazy guy that believed me and actually transcribe my episode. So it would be worth some value, even if you didn't find where the treasure was.
And maybe for the Kickstarter projects I try to get going with the fans, if they donate, maybe the person that transcribes them could give them that for their donations.
Oh, that's a good idea. Donations do matter.
Yeah. I think a transcribed script of my podcast is worth more than money.
It's priceless. It should be on a MasterCard commercial. And maybe I'll write them and tell them, get this
podcast, too, in Spanish.
Maybe that's who I should get a sponsor. I've been talking about getting a sponsor. Maybe MasterCard will sponsor me.
Yeah.
That's a good sponsor.
That's where the money's at, so they could probably give you money.
Or credit. I don't have either one of those. I don't have either one of those. Charlie, this...
Or they could give you cards.
Cards? Just credit cards? Just blank ones? Forged ones? Who knows? I don't have no credit.
We do need sponsors, though, for both of these shows.
Yeah.
And the Pen Saga continues, and I think that's all I had to say.
The Pen Saga.
Oh, and there was a... Well, I'll let you guys listen to it. It was fun to do. And there's going to be a next episode of the Pen Saga. Either on this one or the next one. I don't know which one I'm doing
We have to figure out what happened to the fucking pin. You either lost it or you had it stolen or some
Might
shit.
be
I
in the
don't
car.
know what you did with it.
Could be in the car.
That's probably where it's at. It's probably in the car. I don't know where it's at. I don't know
Well,
the
if it's
saga,
lost,
Charlie.
I'm gonna have to buy you that pen.
When are you going to record my
for it.
intro song, Charlie? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, you've been pussyfooting around. You got other stuff going on. Get my intro song finished.
Well, I did a lot of music for my podcast.
I've had several viewers write in and threaten your life, Charlie, just so you know. Because they really...
Well, that's
like,
a good
you made the
sign.
commitment,
like
and you haven't put it out yet.
True, yeah.
You better get that out there.
We're going to have to do it for both of our podcasts.
You would have to learn... Like, I wish I could have taken you to the hood last night, Charlie. That would have been hilarious. That would have been fun, Charlie. You would have had some great times in the hood down there. Like, it was so weird. Like, we went to the blackest neighborhood in Detroit, and then in the middle of the blackest neighborhood in Detroit, there's this horrible bar, but it was a good bar in a way, but it was full of, like, degenerate white people. Like, I don't know where they came from. They weren't from that neighborhood, that's for sure, because every corner I walked past, because I had to park, like, 4 or 5 blocks away, had 3 or 4 black guys, like, hanging out at 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was definitely a weird neighborhood. But I bet you those guys were like, what in the hell are all these weird white people doing here? Because it was like their billing, like you could look at all the groups that it played, was all rap groups.
Huh. And then there was the metal band.
Yeah, one metal band in the middle of all the rap.
That's cool.
It was kind of cool. It was
That'd be
weird.
fun.
Probably the whitest crowd that bar had ever seen. It was very strange. Very strange, Charlie. Charlie's never been to a metal concert. I can't believe that with how young you are. You're in a band and shit. You've been to a brass concert, though.
Yeah, a lot of them.
That's
a lot of them, yeah.
You could make brass metal from now on, Charlie. You got a trumpet.
I've been
play
probably
a
in
couple trumpet
20
notes
different,
and then scream.
20 different productions of concert songs or concert shows, and probably 20 or so marching band shows.
20 or so marching band shows. What do you
Yeah.
guys do when you march? Do you march a little pattern?
Yep. You practice every day, learning and memorizing the routes of the pattern and your music and anything else you have to do, any other movement you have to do. And then you perform it at halftime shows, which is all right, but which was really fun is the competitions. Because there's actually big crowds
given me
at
quite
the
an erection
competition.
with that speech. I
At
can't
the
believe
marching band competitions,
so
there was actually
exciting.
big crowds at some of them, like in Petoskey and TC.
That's terrible. That sounds
It's
horrible.
fun.
That does not sound fun at all.
It was fun.
That is not fun. Do you do it in the
And if
cold
you
or
do
is
it
it only in
stoned
the
as
warm
fuck,
months?
It's football season, so
Oh
cold.
no, wouldn't fuck with that. So you got to put the brass thing up to your lips. Do you ever have any kind of freezing incidences? Get your lips frozen to the thing?
No, but you do have to keep it warm. Keep all most
So you gotta
of it,
blow.
most of the
You gotta
instruments
blow
you
your
have to
trumpet
keep
a little
warm,
bit
yeah.
and warm it up a little.
Yeah, that's what the good
Fluff
players
it.
do.
You have to fluff the trumpet. Do they have fluffers for the marching band?
No.
There
are those things for the other instruments, though.
Like I got locked up young, Charlie, so I didn't really experience all of high school. Do marching band guys get a lot of pussy? I'd imagine, don't you guys?
The most.
They probably flock to you guys. I gotta imagine the groupies are just like.
Well,
they're not waiting for you. They gotta follow you because you're on the move.
Well, think of it. A band. That's
you
like
guys
Rollins.
are like musicians that are hard to get. So
a
not
band
only
is
are you
like
musicians, but you're playing hard to get.
If you
that
think
really
about it, a
turns
band is
women
like
on.
the Rolling Stones. So marching band is like 20 Rolling Stones because it's a lot more people.
Rolling Stones at once.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Rolling Stones is only 4 people, so that's 5 times the.
That's a lot of stones.
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of stones to stand out there and play this gay music.
Too. It's fun to
bother
smoke
us in
and
the
do
morning.
With your marching band. Concert band was really fun too because you can just sit there and that's.
Now, when I was
the
in
music
school,
is more
the definition of
complex,
fun was something that wasn't a real class. So that's basically what you got to go outside for an hour, so it was better than being
That's
in
probably
math.
why I did all that stuff.
Yeah, he's
marching
like, I don't want to be in
band,
math.
School, broadcast. Yeah, a lot less math classes. More theater and drama was better because it's not like a class for me. It was just
Drama
fun.
is such a horrible word. Isn't drama mean bad? I think we've talked about this before. I don't like things being called drama. I don't like drama in my life.
Because it has a negative connotation.
Was that a
if you're
common
not
joke in
right.
drama class?
No.
Or if you like didn't feel like doing it that day, you were just like, I don't need this drama in my life.
I don't think I ever said that, but I should have.
That would have been a great joke.
That.
You should. I need to join drama class and like hackily remember that joke and do it.
That'd be a good ad lib on stage.
It is.
Instead
I
of
love.
saying one
You know,
of your
that's my
lines.
favorite kind of joke, Charlie. Is the kind in stage where I just fucking like accidentally think of it. That's my favorite.
Those were
kind.
the most fun for me too.
Isn't it? It's
in
the best
plays
one.
and stuff.
Those are the best
really,
ones.
really fun. There was one time where I had to get some pills in a play, and I was yelling, I need, because I was Otello, opera singer, and he was addicted to pills and alcohol and stuff. And I had to find pills, and I couldn't find them. I was supposed to be able to find them, and I couldn't find them, and I kept yelling my line, I need the pills, and it made it actually funnier that he couldn't find them, you know. I did end up finding them. They were in a cupboard. But it made it way more funnier and fun and real.
Did they use real pills, or did they just have like Tic Tacs in there?
I think it was a bottle. It was just a bottle, so there was no pills in it.
Oh, that's horrible. You guys should have went the extra mile so it rattled a little bit. You got
I
to
just
keep
should
the
have brought
suspension of
some of my own
disbelief,
pills.
man. Suspension of disbelief, Charlie. You got to keep them believing. You should have had something in there rattling.
I don't remember that we did.
Uh-oh.
But it's a play. When you think of a play, though, it's a lot bigger than acting in television. So you're thinking about acting for the person farthest in the back too. So you're acting
for the
very
whole?
acting for the whole room, but also
Oh,
acting
I
for the
thought you were just
person
acting for the whole.
all the
That's like,
way.
you guys get pussy in drama class too?
All the way in the back.
I'm marching for the whole, and I'm acting for the whole.
So your movements have to be much bigger.
So the whole room can kind of
much-
see you exaggerate,
Yes, yeah.
and the front people think that you're crazy
It's
because
much
you're like,
larger acting than TV, apparently. I've acted in very few.
yeah, my
TV
TV
things
appearances
so
have been
far.
very limited. They're
And very
limited to
few
9 and
videos
10 every
even.
time I got convicted of a felony.
Yeah.
But I have been on 9 and 10 a couple times. That's my IMDb. You want to check it out? Been on 9 and 10. I was on there once with all black, a nice gold herringbone. I looked like a drug dealer almost. It's a horrible picture of me as a
I've only
17-year-old
been on-
degenerate.
I've only been on the news for sports broadcasting. We
That's
used
way
to
better than what I was
broadcast.
on there for, Charlie. Bless your little heart. Bless your little soul.
We had a cool situation
I
at
had a
Elk
horrible
Rapids
situation.
where we could broadcast the basketball games, and the manager we had that brought in all the stuff for us, he was okay with us joking around the whole time, and he wasn't only okay with it, he loved it. So we were just jackasses the whole time broadcasting. It was so fun.
Basketball games in Elk Rapids got to be hilarious when you watch 10 white guys playing
They
basketball
are
against
hilarious,
each
and
other.
we'd tell the names totally wrong.
It's like, this is the 20
would-
Stooges. People are running into each other
Yeah.
and shit. No one knows how to dribble.
Yeah, and then we'd go on about how certain players were really good. That was fun to do, and they weren't really that impressive. That was really fun. That was a lot of improv. Probably my first experience with that kind of thing. That was
Blazing
good
the
practice.
basketball players. Thank God they can't
Yeah.
listen and play at the same time, or it
Yeah.
really shook them.
And they're not smart enough to get online and see it anyway. So
Yeah, they didn't want to. They were too busy
No, I'm
getting
kidding.
actual poon
Most
because
of them-
basketball
yeah,
players
yeah.
do a lot better than you drama
No, I'm
nerds
kidding.
and
Most-
you marching bands. No
No,
worry, they had
most-
the last laugh. Well,
most
you
of them
guys
were
were
friends
marching
with
away
us.
from the women,
most of them were friends
being all
with us,
dramatic
though.
about not having girlfriends. They were basketballing up on them.
Well, that's true, but most of them were friends with us too, so it was fun to make fun of them because we
Yeah.
were not only in the drama, but like with baseball and stuff, I was always around the other side.
Oh, I could dig it. All right, Charlie, I got to tell you my prison story
Of
before
that.
I forget it. I just thought of my daily prison story. I hadn't thought of one yet for the show. I knew I would think of one because you just make me think of prison, Charlie. Because I was your age when I was in prison, so I talk to you once in a while. Makes me think of prison. When we're talking about those pills rattling,
Yeah.
want to hear a funny prison story about some rattling shit? Like, I don't know why it even triggered it. Just because my brain is like, don't forget, you got to think of a little prison story, motherfucker. So as soon as I said the rattling jar, I was like, oh, that reminds me of some funny shit. I got a little bit addicted in prison to gambling. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I was addicted to gambling. I fucking loved to gamble. I'd lose
What
constantly.
kind of gambling? I forgot what you
Pretty
said.
much anything.
I remember.
Shooting craps in the bathroom, playing
Yeah, I
fucking
remember you saying
blackjack.
a little bit.
Like, dudes in there will run blackjack tables. They'll run poker tables. They'll do shit like that. They'll run the gambit. You can go in the bathroom and shoot craps.
What's craps?
Craps is
Is that like die?
2 dice where you, like, shoot for your point, try to get 7, 11, break point. You've never, like in the casino where the guy shoots 2 dice down the table. It's nothing. In the bathroom, it's a lot more disgusting and shady than the casino anyhow. It's the same deal. It's just craps. But I liked gambling. It became an obsession. But I was losing all the time, so I was broke all the time because gambling is that life. It's like feast or famine. It's like you starve
Yeah.
for 3 weeks and then you live great for 2 days when you finally win something, but you've already lost for so long that you're not ahead. That's how gambling is.
Mhm.
It's a horrible fucking demon for some people. I don't gamble no more. It was terrible. I loved gambling, but it was too much. But anyhow, I didn't have no money, man. I was totally broke, and they had a poker table going. Well, we had actual money in prison. Like, we had tokens, like little metal discs, round discs, aluminum tokens, and they were like $5 and $1 tokens, and you could take them to the store and spend them, and it was like real money, and you got to carry it, and it was weird, It was like it was called script or whatever. They had an old term for it. It wasn't real money, but it was prison money. So you could put in a form and get it every couple weeks. They'd send you some money, and so anyhow, I was wanting to gamble, and I had no money, and like the table was cash and carry, so I couldn't get in. But the deal is, there's no gambling allowed in prison. So if you're sitting at a poker table and people are putting money in the middle of the table, they know that you're gambling, and they'll come over and take all the money and write everyone a ticket, and everyone's in trouble. So the little play that everyone did, which is stupid that they let us get away with it, is they would take like cards and cut them in half. The house guy, the guy that was the house for the poker game, would take playing cards and cut them in half and use those as chips, so to speak. So each one was worth a denomination, like a quarter or a dollar. And then you'd sit there with playing cards playing poker, and then the other playing cards that were in the center of the table were your bets, but they were like marked as something else besides playing cards, and then it looked like you just had a lot of cards in some kind of weird fucking card game. So see how it was gotten away with? So it's like, how are you going to say we're gambling? These are cards. These are all cards. We're playing a card game, you know? What do you want? There's no money at the table. So that's how you technically got away with gambling, is you use the other cards as markers. You know what I mean? So then you could even be fantasy gambling, like people do with matchsticks, you know, per se. So anyhow, it was actually not fantasy gambling. You kept track of it, and at the end of the game, everyone would square up. You know, because a lot of times you couldn't walk up to the table and buy chips because they would see that too. So that you could walk up to the table and say, hey, I got, you know, let me in, and they would give you $20 worth of money. And then if you lost all your money and needed to get up from the poker table, like somebody would get up with you and you could walk over to the bathroom and like go in there and you'd give them your $20 that you had lost or whatever to the table, you know. So that was how, or you could like meet them over there beforehand. Sometimes they'd be like, hold on, you know, like it was different all the time. Like once in a while they'd be like, hey, right now, you know, you cash first. Like it was like different times, different strokes for different folks, whatever. You know, sometimes motherfuckers would be like, oh, hold on, and like they'd walk over to the bathroom with you before the game. And be like, all right, here's, you know, $20 worth of chips, and give me $20, and then you both walk to the table. And like each dealer, each guy that ran his own house would like specially like put his signature on the chip cards, so motherfuckers couldn't be slick and bring a couple cards and put them into the rotation and be like, I got $50 worth of chips, you know. Because people in there, surprise, surprise, motherfuckers are
they'll
slick
do
in
what
there.
do what they do.
But anyhow, I wanted to gamble and I had no fucking money, so you know what I did? They give you a little room key. I had one key. And this guy had busted out this window, and I knew where some broken glass was, so I took the fucking broken glass and the key, and I put it in my pocket. And I went over to the poker table, and I put my hand in my pocket, and I said, "Hey, can I get 20 and get a seat?" And like I was afraid they were gonna ask me to go to the bathroom, so I like jingled my pocket to like show them that I had money, and I knew they wouldn't want to get up if they like heard money. But I didn't have no fucking money. It was like 3 pieces of glass and a key, but it sounded like those aluminum tokens kind of, because it was like clang, clang, clang. And they were like, okay, and they like gave me $20 worth of tokens, and it was poker, and I sat and I was waiting on what's called like a lock, where it's like you get dealt one of those hands where you just know you're not going to lose. It's a super good hand, and you get it off the rip. You don't got to chase it down, because they were playing like draw poker. So I sat, and I almost was out of fucking chips, but sure as shit, I got that lock, and fucking, you know, you can't bet it straight out real fast and hard, but I bet it a little bit and I got a good enough pot where I walked away with a few bucks off of nothing. But if I'd have lost, I'd have been fucked. Like, it'd have been terrible. Because after the game, it's time to walk to the bathroom and pay. You know what I mean? But that's how bad the gambling bug had bit me. See, that's like, you think people see people in the world, they're like, oh, they gambled away their house, or they can't, you know what I mean? Like, that's bad, but like somebody would stab me to death in the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, they probably wouldn't have stabbed me to death, but they'd probably stomp me out or something. You know, it would have been terrible. So gambling is vice. You see that?
Yeah.
It's weird shit. You ever gamble, Charlie?
I played poker a little bit, but no, not that much.
You ever go to the casino and play like blackjack and shit?
No, I haven't.
It's a good thing not to do in a way. It's almost like, you know, some things that are like you get told they're addictive, so you kind of should veer away from it. It's like smoking almost in a way, where it's like there's not many benefits to gambling unless you have time to kill. Of course, money to kill, because you're probably going to lose. But even if you weren't going to lose, it's like you almost have to have time to kill. Because even if you're going to win at gambling, it's still like a job. Nothing fun is happening in the casino. What's fun about sitting on a stool with a whiskey?
Yeah, I don't get it. That's why I don't
do that shit at home.
Well, I don't want to do that at home either.
The reason you don't get it is because you're not addicted to it. You don't get it. It's like people that don't smoke. You don't get why people that don't smoke. They look at people that smoke and they're like, why don't you quit smoking those? They're killing you. You can't breathe. You're freezing outside. You know, it's like, it's just one of them things. You get bit by the bug. You see everyone else doing it, and you're like, oh, maybe it is fun. You go do it, and you're like, ooh, I almost won that one time. I should stop in. What if I did win? All those fucking questions swirl about.
Poker's fun sometimes, like in a house.
Oh, yeah, I like playing house poker. But like I said, I'm like, in the world, I feel bad playing cards with people, even poker and shit, because it's like I'm a fucking menace. And like I would scalp the average poker table. Like, it sounds cocky, but I played a billion hours of poker. Like, as
Yeah.
soon as I see, like, a Texas Hold'em type situation where you get, like, you know, that game is where you get the two
Yeah.
cards and you get the flop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a situation like that, as soon as that 5-card flop hits, like, I know the best fucking hand, the worst fucking hand, like, I just know. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
I'm not very good at it.
oh, I've done it a billion
It's just
times. So it's
fun.
just like an ingrained process for me where I see it and boom, I know. Like, and I'm such an asshole at cards because I've played it so much that, like, if I'm sitting at a table with 4 or 5 people playing poker and they, like, do the flop and, like, everyone's, like, trying to look at their hand and they don't know what they got and, like, well, I think I got a flush or maybe I got like, that shit can almost drive me nuts. Like, I'm not mean, but I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, you got a goddamn straight, you got one pair, you ain't got shit, I don't even know why you're still fucking betting, who the fuck are you even here for? You know what I mean? Like, you just, when you play poker a lot, it's like you almost are more offended by the fact these guys, it's like, why are you even playing poker? What the fuck? Give me your goddamn money. Like, so that's why in the free world, it's like, I don't want to go play a game of poker with a bunch of sharks that are going to take my money, where it's an even match. But at the same time, when I got a group of friends and I know they're like, oh, we got a Tuesday poker night, because this situation has come up a couple times where, like, got some buds. They're like, hey, we play poker a couple times a month, and I'm like, well, I don't want to, like, make you think I don't like you by not fucking playing poker with you, but I know you guys are betting real money, and I know I'm not going to show up and throw the game, and I'm not going to show up and come up short.
Yeah.
So it's just one of them things, especially against people that just are casually playing once in a while. Because in prison, when you play poker, like, you play from sun up till sundown all day long, every day, like a non-stop thing. Because what else are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as
And
you're
yeah, that'd
awake,
make you addicted.
yeah, you're going. It's to the point where, like, the day room isn't open when you first wake up, but you get to go, like, to breakfast. So people will go stand in the little waiting area where you're allowed to wait for breakfast and, like, fucking bust a couple quick hands out, you know. And maybe it's not poker, maybe it's like Tunk or fucking casino or something. A little, I don't even know if you know these games. They're just gambling games, but, like, people are so, like, it'll just be all day long. So it's like you'll get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and easily put 12 or 14 hours into just playing cards and gambling the entire time.
Jeez.
And gambling is the classic, like, it's got the drug addiction, like, thing, like, just like,
Yeah.
like a love thing where it's like it's the high low. Or today I'm going to do speed and tomorrow I'm going to do something to get down, and I got to get up and then I got to get down, because you can't just get down and you can't just get up. And that's what poker does, or gambling is, like, one day you're winning, the next day you're losing. So the winning feels good, but it feels great in comparison to the losing, you know. So it's like a, you know, it's a crazy thing. Gambling is like loving. Don't gamble, Charlie. Long story short. So what else has been going on in your world, Charlie? Tell us stuff. Tell us exciting things about Charlie.
Not much.
That weather was fucked up. Did you drive in that weather yesterday like a big boy?
No.
Nah, I wouldn't. Oh, you got a fucked up windshield wiper still, don't you?
Yeah.
We need to pull your whip in here
I
soon.
need to
I'll help
go-
you with it. Man
I need
will
to go
help
to
man.
Detroit Monday, so I'm gonna have to get that fixed.
Oh yeah, we're going down to what's that called? Oh, not that's Monday. What's that other show that you booked that we were talking about? Harvey's partner, Shakespeare's.
Yeah.
I'll be very
On the
poetic when I
4th,
go to
yeah,
Shakespeare's.
on Thursday.
Do some poetry for
I was
him.
gonna go there a while ago, but got double booked. Apparently, it's really nice there.
Oh, is it? Cool.
Really, not really nice. I just mean the people there. I like the people there. I like the guy that runs it.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
Time is time. That's what I say. Mike time is Mike time.
Yeah.
It's all good. But not shit going on here. I went to the metal concert. Fucking was up all night. For my age, that's quite a feat. To come home at 5:30 in the morning, Charlie.
Yeah.
I walked in. I was not feeling great. Like, I'll go to sleep and sleep good tonight. That's for sure. I'm still.
I was up
kinda
all night 2 nights ago working on the podcast. The
Oh,
Charlie
you stayed
Show.
up all night?
Yeah. After doing that podcast with Josiah, I recorded mine and then edited it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
The all-nighters are a mug, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are.
But I wanted to get it done. I started it and didn't realize how long it was going to take.
Well, that's a good thing when it could take you like that and be a passion. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it was fun. Decided to do another one. Not sure when I'm going to.
One of these days.
I
Who knows?
I work tonight, maybe tomorrow.
Maybe you'll record something in a dish tank tonight.
Yeah. Or think of something, yeah.
How's that job of yours going, Charlie? You like it?
Yeah.
What's it laying like in there? What's it look like? Tell us tell us what it looks like. We're not going to say your place of business so we don't slander them on accident. But what's it looking like in there? Was there like 3 hot waitresses and a greasy cook? Is it like a sitcom situation? Who do you work? Oh, you said you work with a fucking crazy crack fiend or something, don't you?
I work with one of them, but everyone else I work with isn't, from as far as I see. Like everyone I work with, he's difficult to work with. And it's all males in the back in the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and all females in the front for the servers, bartender, all that.
That's how it is lots of times.
Yeah, and
Are you
I
guys
like
like a
it. I
funny
like it like
group? Do you
that.
guys like play together and shit and
Yeah,
have fun?
yeah.
Last night on the way back from the concert, we stopped at a McDonald's to get a frappe, and we ordered a frappe, and the girl, and we order them high tech. We get like espresso and shit, and then we do a bunch of extracurricular shit. Well, the girl was having trouble ringing them up, so she yelled for the manager, and we're parked at the window, and I can hear her. She's like, Kathy, come help me with this order. So like, I'm just like not really paying attention, but I can hear her inside the window, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Charlie, it was fucking crazy, but I hear a fucking woman climaxing in McDonald's through the drive-through window. I can hear, oh God, oh my God, and like it was fucking when Harry Met Sally convincing. Like I was like, oh my God, someone's in there getting fucked late night. Like it makes sense. Like we're in the hood basically. So why not the McDonald's? Someone's getting a piece in the back while I'm ordering my food. Like it makes sense a little bit. It doesn't make me happy, but it makes sense. So I'm like, okay, maybe someone's getting fucked. And that's what I'm saying. You gotta have fun at work. All of a sudden, the Kathy lady or whoever the chick was yelling for them came walking around, and I could see, and I could tell by her mouth it was matching the noises through the window. She had been moaning and like having an orgasm from across the store as she walked over to the other lady to help her on the register. So when she said, "Hey, Kathy, would you come? Would you come over here or whatever?" She took the come and like acted like she was coming,
Oh.
and she's like, "Oh, I'm coming," and then started to do a big orgasm thing, and like she did it, and I could hear her through the thing, and like only I get caught, and I'm like, "Oh my God, someone's getting rammed in the McDonald's," and it's like in the hood, you're like you could walk around a dumpster and see someone getting pilfered on the ground, like it's a dog eat dog world down there. It's like get it where you can or something. Like
That's funny though. That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's what I'm saying. Are you that type of motherfuckers at where you work? Are you guys fun together, or you guys just
Yeah.
go to work and?
No, that's what I like about it. Is
It's
everybody
better,
joking
ain't
around
it?
and stuff. I'm pretty quiet, but I don't exclude myself from the joking.
Every
I'm a
job
bit
I've
of a
had,
quiet, maybe somewhat of a devil's advocate with the joking, where I'm quiet, but I still nice to have fun when you're caught up.
it is. One of the reasons I know I wanted to do comedy my whole life in a way is because every fucking job I've had, every scenario I've been in where I worked, to me also was a comedy scenario. Where I mean, it sounds fucking crazy, but almost in my head, as soon as I got every
me
fucking
too.
job I've had, yeah, you see what I mean? You
Yeah.
get your job, and almost in your mind, you're like, it's not on TV, but you feel like
Yeah.
you've just been inserted, even though you need the money and it's some real life shit, and this is like real. But you feel like you've almost just been inserted into like a fucking sitcom.
Exactly.
Like I said, where like
That's
here's
how I
the
think
big
of it,
greasy
yeah.
chef, and he's got and everyone's so stereotypical. It's like the universe is fucking with you. The chef does have
Yeah.
tattoos and a felony. He is trying to fuck
It's
the
fucking
waitress,
awesome,
who
yeah.
is actually
It is.
fucking the boss.
That is exactly
who does
how I
own the
think of it, yeah.
place, and his wife is there once in a while, and the waitress hides so that she doesn't act awkward around her. And it's all the same shit. Every bar you go to, it's the same kind of
Yeah.
restaurant. It's like stereotypes exist for a fucking reason. But every time I've started working, it's like I've been inserted into a funny sitcom, and it's like I feel like it's my job to like, even if the atmosphere already exists, it's like I gotta turn it up. I gotta bring that
Yeah.
next element. Like, and I bring the comedy part, and it's like I always would be like, why don't I just fucking do comedy? Why do I gotta come to Big Boy and work as the cook or as the guy and make sure that I'm the biggest asshole and make everyone
Yeah.
laugh all day? Like, we get our work done and it's fun, but in a way, sometimes I'm the worst employee because I'm taken away and all of a sudden we're having biscuit fights or something, just dumb shit. You know how it goes at work.
Yeah.
Prison jobs are the best, Charlie, though, because in prison, fuck your job. Stick it in your ass. What are you going to put me in more jail? You pay me 23 cents a day? Like, I don't give a shit about this job. So you go to work with that attitude where it's like, I'm
Yeah.
going to find the room with the clean mops in them and sleep in a pile of mops all day and see if you can find me. I don't give a fuck. And what are you going to do, fire me? You need
Yeah.
me, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm going to soak my feet in this hot kettle of water. I mean, I'm going to clean it out because I'm not gross, but fuck you, fire me for it. I don't care. Whatever. Like, I used to not care about my job in prison. As surprising as
Makes
that is,
sense.
Charlie,
Right.
as surprising as it is. There was one job I cared about a little bit in a weird way. I got a job when I was close to getting out where I was out in the world on public works, and I had to, like, cut grass and shit like that. And, like, I took it to the extreme where I started, like, drawing, like, patterns in the grass. You know, you
Yeah.
can, like, go back and
Like
forth and
aliens.
make stripes.
Yeah.
But I was, like, going back and forth in circles and making bullseyes, and I was going back and forth in wavy patterns and making big fields of waves and UFO patterns and shit. And because I had a Z mower, which is, like, one of them mowers that's got the two handles.
You drive it.
Yeah, well, it
Yeah.
can turn on a dime, too. It can, like,
Yeah.
spin in place because
Yeah.
it's got, like, two handles and it's got, like, tank control.
Mhm.
So you can really get intricate in your designs. Like, yeah, I even one time was cutting the grass at the Vassar Police Department, and there was a big steep hill right in front of where they all parked, and it was all grass, nice grass.
Mhm.
And I mowed it real good, and then I carved in it with a weed whip VPD for Vassar Police Department, and they were fucking pissed. They didn't want it. They were mad. It looked great. I'm like, it looks great. I just did free shit. You're mad at me. You guys fucking suck. They didn't like any of the crop circles, none of the shit.
Jeez.
They hated it all. All my work, like the crew boss would be pissed almost every time. Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's seeing this non-appreciation that would make me in turn not give a fuck about my job.
Yeah.
It's like I'm taking it to the next level for you people.
Just appreciate the art, the free
There's
art.
art. Like, this was just a waste treatment center where you treat your poop water, but now it's a work of art, and it looks like
Yeah.
an alien landed here, and your grass is still mowed, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then they would bitch about it. And they would be like, can you take it out? And it's like, no. It'd take me just as long to untake it out as it did to put it in. Just let it grow for 2 days, and it'll be gone. Fuck you. But
Yeah.
they weren't grateful.
Jeez.
So it caused me to respond and reciprocate and be ungrateful for my job.
Yeah.
But I used to have fun. I'd do weird shit, have fun at work all day. Not giving a shit is a truly liberating feeling sometimes. Like, it's not a good thing. It's both things. Like, when you don't give a shit, it's bad because giving
You
a
should
shit is
have both
nice. It's
sides
nice
of
to
it.
love people and have shit like that.
Yeah.
But not giving a shit can lead to, like, some pretty hilarious things.
But giving
and
a
fun.
shit too much.
That's
That's
Holding
that's
on to life too tight will give you rope
overfilling.
burn. You have to let go
Yeah,
a
you
little
can't
bit.
overfill. You
Yeah,
can't
you
overfill.
have to touch it. You know, it's running through your hands, but
Yeah.
don't squeeze it because it'll rope burn you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a fine line to walk. In prison, though, I almost was letting the rope fly too fast, doing
Well,
dumb
it makes
shit.
sense that probably almost anyone would do that, I think.
Yeah, it's like, what am I gonna do? I'm in prison. I gotta have
Yeah.
fun when I can. I'm gonna be in the cell for the next 52 hours.
Mhm.
Might as well let my nuts hang today.
Yeah.
One time I took my Z mower, I found a bunch of fucking golf balls, like a little stash of them. I had like 30 of them. So I found this straight road, and I
Mhm.
went driving there with my Z mower. I kind of left where I should be, and I
Mhm.
put the golf balls, I put a bunch of them on the road, and I was driving and shooting them down the road, and like I was getting so much fucking distance. Like I was doing it perfect too, where I just like mow over it with the deck, and it just like pow, and it just fucking like a few of them would explode or break, but a lot of times they would go flying down that straightaway road. And like if you'd get them just right, where they would like hit that first bounce after like the flying, like they would just disappear flying down the road. Like that's the difference when you're in jail. You're just like, I don't give a fuck if a car pulls out. Like it just won't,
Yeah.
or like things will work out. Where
Mhm.
now I'm free. There's no fucking way I would do that. It's like I could kill
Yeah.
a child, like a dog, a people could drive. Like it wasn't like I was in
Yeah.
nowhere. I wasn't on the moon. I was in a neighborhood doing that shit, you know. But it's just like that's what I'm saying. You don't give a fuck a little bit too much, you know.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't breaking. I guess I was breaking the law in a way. That's probably jailable offense shooting golf balls with a lawnmower down a stretch of road, and you know, I mean, it wasn't busy stretch of road. So I don't know. Whatever. Fun times. Good old fun times.
Yeah.
I really don't like. I don't want to go to prison at all, but I don't miss prison. It was good times. Like there's no part of me that's like, oh my god, I got a huge void in my life. Like I almost think that's the goal in prison, that they want to like punish people, and I think they get that outcome lots of times. Like I think they want to put someone in there, and their punishment is here's a void in your life that you have to look back on and be like, here's an area of nothingness. But it didn't work out like that for him with me. It's just like, oh, here's a period of 10 years that was fucking crazy and kind of fun in a weird way.
Yeah.
So, well, works
You
out.
get some good out of it.
Some good. There wasn't much bad. It was kind of fun. I mean, there's no girls in there. That sucks. That's the one thing. There's no women in prison.
Well, I mean, at least now you get good out of it.
Eh.
by having it as material and
Oh
having
yeah, I do love
podcasts and
joking
stuff.
about prison and shit. Last night when we went down to Detroit before we showed up at the concert, I stopped and seen one of my old prison buddies, and that shit is always fun to me because they let me cut up on a level that's different, where they like I can bring some dumb shit, like they understand it better. Like people in the world just wouldn't get it. Like when I say in the world, like when you're talking to a dude that's been in the joint, he knows what you mean when you're like, oh, these world motherfuckers, like these, because it's just like, it's no disrespect, but it's just like when you people that are in the world, they don't understand a weird scenario like that where you're in prison for a long time. It's just a weird fucking way to have to live your life for a period. And some people are doing it forever. That's crazy shit, you know what I mean? But they're in there like I said, it's just like the world where you pick your poison. Are you gonna be happy in prison, or are you gonna be mad in prison?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be happy in the world, or are you gonna be mad in the world? Because it's not like a faked happiness. It's not like you're walking around like I'm just gonna smile through this or something. It's not that. It's just like you have to like forget that you're upset or whatever. I don't even know what it is. It's just a blessing if you can do it, I guess, and a curse if you can't. It's hard to teach people that don't understand the philosophy of fuck it. Like it's hard to teach people that. Like
I think sometimes it's good to just be happy that, it sounds cheesy, but be happy that you're able to breathe and eat, that you're warm, and that you know.
Drink a little water.
Drink
like
water.
There's so many little things that are awesome.
Sounds basic, but
like it's awesome to get cold and then get hot.
Down to that, yeah.
Like just changing temperatures is fucking weird and cool.
Yeah, whenever I get down, that's where I go to, because it's the most simplest thing that my brain can.
This is a fucking great anecdotal piece of fucking advice for people, and this just happened. Chris got that job up at Family Dollar. My wife started a job as a clerk at the local fucking Five and Dime. Well, she was up there, her second day, someone backed into the car and smashed his taillight, right? And we're po folks, po enough that sucks, especially right before Christmas. They hit it, broke it, and left, you know? And we ain't got the great insurance where you're like, hello, insurance, fly a balloon out here with a pot for my car and two midgets to put it on or whatever. Like we have the insurance where we have to get killed and then our kids get $100 or something. Like we have the lowest form of insurance. So they're not going to do shit for us is what I'm trying to say. So it sucks. But I'm at home, Chris is at work, and I'm kind of, it's late at night, she's not home yet, but I'm having like a little bit of an anxiety attack because I got like a PTSD thing once in a while where it's like, you know, it's just a stress thing. It's hard to explain. People with anxiety know what anxiety is. You might have had some in your life. Who knows? Yeah, so you know what I'm saying. Like, it was an anxiety where it's a weird thing to describe, but I start worrying about stuff. And like I said before, in prison, I didn't give a fuck. Well, now in the world, I give a fuck. Now I have shit to worry about, like my kids, Brendan and Paige. You know what? Like, are you guys okay? You got something up? Are you worried? You know, like I worry about nothing. Like, am I doing the right things? Am I influencing them the right way? Should I tell them something? Like, my brain will start wondering and questioning those type of non-things. Like, I can't control what you do. I can't control what they do. Like, I can be me, right? But I can't sit and worry about what you're doing because you're doing it. Like, I can I can change myself right now, and maybe next time I bump into you, you will be influenced by the change in me, and you will change yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? But I can't fret over what you're doing. But that's what I was doing. I was sitting there, and it started. The anxiety rolled up on me, and all of a sudden the brain was going 100 miles an hour. And it's like the anxiety. During it, I could tell you what the panic was about and what the fears were. But after it, like I said, it was basically worrying about the nothing. That's what anxiety is. Anxiety is worrying about things you can't change. Because if it was things you could change, you would just walk over and flip the switch and turn the light on, and then your anxiety would go away because you'd change it. So, like, that's a hard thing to know when you're having anxiety, but here's the kicker for me the other night. When I'm trapped in the middle of that little panic attack, and my wife's not here because she's at work, and she's the person I usually, like, kind of kick it with to calm me down, and she's, you know, she's used to it. Well, she's not here, so it's even worse. Well, she comes in, and she doesn't realize I'm having a little bit of an issue because it's not like the first words out of my mouth. I'm just like, wait a second to tell her, let her take her shoes off. But I'm like, I can feel the breathing and the heart thing going on, and like I said, the mind is, and so I'm like waiting to like, oh, I get to finally talk to her, and like she helps calm me down a lot. She'll pet my head or whatever, brush my eyebrows or some shit. She calms me down, but she tells me, oh, John, she hits me before I can tell her. She says, Someone backed into the car at work and smashed the taillights out of it and we're fucked, basically. She didn't say we're fucked, but, and I'm like, oh my God. So all of a sudden my anxiety went from like a 9, because it was already peaking out, to a definite 10 for a second. But then the magical thing happened and it reminded me of something that I already knew, but it's a good thing. All of a sudden my anxiety fucking left.
Yeah.
Because now guess what I have? I have a real problem that needs a real fucking solution and a real plan. See, so now I can look at a car. I can figure out what's wrong with it. I need to go get a tail lights. I need to put them in. Like, you know what I mean? Now I have some stuff to do tomorrow. It's not me worrying about what everyone's thinking of me or feeling about themselves or what they're doing. Problems that I can't solve. Now I have a real problem, and all of a sudden my anxiety is gone. Like, I was fixed. At first I didn't think, I thought, oh, great. Now I got another thing to throw in this fire. But it wasn't. It was water. And it's like, that's a good, like, get busy. Like, if you're having anxiety, if you're having stress, if you're having that kind of, like, a lot of people suffer from anxiety and weird shit like that and don't know how to deal with it. It's just a thing. But that's my advice. That's a good advice of the day. Get your ass busy with some real work. Clean your room if you're having stress. You'll feel better. Calm you down. That was kind of it was kind of a funny night, having the fucking panic attack, and my wife comes home and fixes me with telling me some worse news.
Yeah, that's like a sitcom too.
That's kind of funny. You could write that into a funny thing, probably. You could write that into a little show.
Yep.
There's some wisdom in it. You could learn from the goddamn lesson or something.
Things keep getting worse.
And
once they get worse, then they get better. Yeah,
exactly. Well, as soon as they keep getting worse, you start realizing that you don't have control over them, and the things that you thought were worse are already over, and tomorrow morning's coming. So things aren't ever worse; they're just over.
Yep.
So that idea that things are getting worse before they get better definitely could be cracked if you looked at it enough. With like, nope, things are just over after they're done, and I'm on to the next item.
Yeah.
Because even like just in the worst cases, it's always you could just stop and just look at a flower. You know what I mean? Check out the clouds. When cars broke down and you got to walk, you can fucking kick a can. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Be happy. Be happy, Charlie. So you did an hour-long podcast, Charlie? Did you feel accomplished when you were done with it?
Yeah, I was really tired after.
I'm kind of proud of you. That was a fucking pretty good thing.
Well, I was tired because I had recorded it and edited it that night.
That's a long rip. That's how I was when I did the first Man Sharpens Man. Is I was like dedicated to it. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to finish it. You know what I mean? Like I had to get it done. What do you got? How much time you got before work? It's 4:20 right now, ain't it?
4:10.
4:10.
Probably gonna have to get going soon.
Probably gotta get out of here soon. Do you think you can stay until 4:20?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap up this episode, and at 4:20 we're gonna do what people do at 4:20.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna give each other a secret handshake.
Oh yeah.
Secret handshake. Oh, I don't know if I did the joke of the week. I didn't do my old joke of the week, Charlie. I'm gonna have to on the spot right now try to somehow think of a god dang old joke of the week. What am I gonna tell you? I gotta think of something. Tell me a word or something. Say something to make me think of a joke. Tell me something, Charlie. Talk about yourself or your cat or something. Okay, here we go. I thought of a joke now. See, all I had to do is you stimulated me, Charlie. We need a video feed so people can see how you just magically, like you just sometimes cut your eyes at me, Charlie. It needs to be on TV. This podcast, once in a while, people are like, God damn, John won't shut up. Poor Charlie over there getting rolled over.
We set up a camera somewhere,
he's got hand gestures going on. He's got all kinds of shit. He
very
influences
physical
me.
Comedian.
He just made me think of the joke of the week. I mean, he didn't talk, but I was trying to get him to talk, and that made me think of the joke of the week. And here it is. It's an old joke, Charlie, but it's a fucking... It's maybe one of the first dirty jokes my mom told me, I think.
Oh,
it might be. It's pretty close. I do remember her telling me this when I was a kid. She didn't tell it to me in an ultra dirty way, but she told it to me and made me laugh. And I think it might have had its origins in like the Badass Little Johnny series. Have you ever heard jokes like Badass Little Johnny is in school type jokes?
I don't think so.
They're stupid and corny. And I'm not going to put the words Badass Little Johnny in this joke at all, but there's this little boy. He's on the side of a street by the sidewalk, and he's got a vial of battery acid. And he's got bugs, different kinds of bugs, and he's doing experiments on these bugs, and he's dripping the battery acid on them and watching them burn up and die. And he's got roly-polies and ants, and he's killing these bugs with battery acid that he's got in a vial. Well, this priest is walking down the street, father with the robes and the little white dude on in his neck, and he's walking down the street and he sees the little boy with the acid killing the bugs, and he thinks, oh man, this little kid is not doing the right thing. I should use this as a teaching moment, teach this boy a little bit. So I'm going to go teach this boy. And he walks up to him and he says, hey, what are you doing here? You're killing these. What are you doing with this? Are you killing these bugs? And the little boy says, yeah, I'm just seeing how long they live after I put this battery acid on them. It's the most powerful stuff in the world. He's like, it's killing them all. He's like, it kills them in seconds. It's the most powerful stuff ever. And the priest thinks about it for a minute. He says, no, son. He's like, I tell you what is the most powerful stuff in the world is holy water. It's more powerful than battery acid. He said it's blessed by God. It's full of love. He says a couple drops of holy water on a woman's belly, and she'll pass a baby. And the little boy looks up at him. He says, oh, hell. He says, that ain't shit. A couple drops of this on a cat's balls, and it'll pass a motorcycle.
That's awesome.
That's a long-winded one, but it is a kind of old joke because I heard it a long time ago. It's not one of the jokes you hear 100 times. It's not like a 101 jokes, but it's definitely an old joke, and now it's on the...
Yeah, it's a good classic.
In the analogs of time, it's now been recorded on the Man Sharpens Man podcast.
Maybe I'll have a callback to it, too, on my podcast.
You should.
This will be in the archives twice.
I almost
for our network of podcasts.
I don't know how terrible it would be, but there's a piece of me that thinks there's almost a spot where, like, you could go on stage and do stand-up and throw in old jokes like that. Because, like...
certain shows, maybe.
It might work. Because, seriously, when I tell a joke, like when I tell a joke, I don't know how the average person is. I don't memorize the 832 fucking words you told me when you told me that joke. I don't remember that. I just remember that the fucking cat ran past a motorcycle.
Well,
and
some people kind of do that, like Andrew Dice Clay.
He tells old jokes and,
it's
like...
a lot of street... Well, not like old jokes,
Oh, yeah, because he tells, like, a nursery rhyme or something. Yeah, and he has the same thing over and over. But I'm just saying, like if I really sat down and brainstormed and came up with a bunch of old jokes, they're pretty funny. And they get lost in time. I think people are scared to tell them because they're like, I know everyone's heard this. Or if even some, like, people are such spoilers with movies, you think that's bad? Jokes is even worse. You see the new Star Wars movie came out and everyone's like, there's just like bombing the spoilers on Facebook and Twitter. And, like, it's like the only one person is original and funny with this idea. The other 8 billion of you thinking that it's cute to like run and watch a movie and post it now, like it's the new rage.
When there's one
ruin
joke
a movie
that's
for somebody,
written by a lot of different people, when something happens, it's interesting because you very well could be like, "Oh, I thought of that too."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or my friend thought of that too. Probably.
Tons of times.
Yeah.
Like my parkour joke the other day, someone told me they heard that before in a different way.
Huh.
I'm like, well, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, of course, the word sounds like parkour. I'm not the first person to think parkour sounded like park whore. I mean, I probably had more dealings with parkours than the average person because I lived in a trailer park for quite a while and in trailers. Living in a trailer in Texas doesn't seem retarded. I mean, it doesn't look good, trust me, and there's tornadoes, so it is more retarded in a way, but you don't really think of the tornado aspect. You're just like, oh, it's a trailer, and you're never in there freezing. But people that live in them single-wide trailers in northern Michigan, which I've been one of, it's fucking nuts, Charlie. A single-wide trailer's outside walls are an inch and a half thick. Like, there's nothing between you and the outdoors, basically.
That'd be cold.
Yeah, so heating it is like throwing money in a toilet. Like, it costs more to heat a little single-wide trailer sometimes than it costs for people that have, like, big 3-4 bedroom regular houses to heat their house. Because the trailers...
There's no insulation.
No insulation, and they're usually outfitted with, like, the cheapest furnace on the market. Because they're marketed to the lower end, so they put all low-end shit in it. And then the people that live in them always are scratching by. They're not like, let's move into this trailer and go buy a fucking Briggs & Stanley or whatever kind of name of furnace. I don't know what any furnace fucking names, but you know what I mean. Trailers suck, especially in northern Michigan. You're going to have a fucking large set of cojones. All right, let's wrap this thing up, Charlie. You got to get out of here. Yeah. We got to go do our secret handshake. So this is Man Sharpens Man. Tell him our motto, Charlie. It's peacepodmicro.fool.
Oh, yeah, peacepodmicro. Check out mine, too, and
oh, yeah, check out Charlie's first podcast, The Charlie Show. Don't forget, we're starting the network, the Love Network. Join our Web of Indra. Peacepodmicro.